Good evening. You're tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. The Economic Action Council will be creating a new central database hub called PADU. According to Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, the database will record socio-economic information of households to ensure targeted subsidies and aid can be distributed more effectively. The data to be collected by the Statistics Department will include the number of households, household income, location, number of vehicles, record of assistance received from government departments, and other information to determine disposable income of eligible households. It is expected to be fully up and running by January 2024. Meanwhile, in elaborating the decision, Economic Minister Rafizi Ramli said the move is also important for Malaysia's efforts in building a digital ecosystem.
Today's step means that we are moving into one centralized cloud-based national data infrastructure, which then allows any solutions in the future to be built around APIs.
The government will continue with the existing diesel subsidy scheme but will introduce a fleet card mechanism to better monitor diesel consumption. Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the system would help the government prevent leakages or misuse of targeted subsidies.
Peningkatan kenderaan yang menggunakan diesel 2.4%. Penggunaan diesel melonjak 37.7%. Jadi ada masalah tentang salah guna atau penyeludupan ketirisan. Ini yang disebutkan ketirisan 10 bilion ringgit.
Anwar said the government is in the midst of detailing the types of vehicles that will enjoy the diesel subsidy. Separately, Anwar said households with excessive power consumption will no longer enjoy electricity subsidies, adding that they will soon have to pay market rates.
Umpamanya kalau rumah guna 3 fan, 4 aircon, dia harus bayar kos sebenar dan tidak menggunakan subsidi. Maknanya M40, B40 tidak dinaikkan. Tapi rumah-rumah yang menggunakan elektrik yang tinggi itu akan dikenakan bayaran ikut kos pasaran, harga pasaran.
What does it take for Malaysia to elevate itself to become a high-income nation? Borge Brande, president of the World Economic Forum, gives his insights after the launch of Malaysia's first centre for the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
I think the medium-term challenge for Malaysia is then to not end up in a middle-income trap, because it is a middle-income economy today, $15,000 per capita, so doing really well compared to other nations. But the government also has a vision to become a high-income country, and that takes efforts when it comes to investing in education, gender inclusion. More women needs to be part of the economy and also the formal economy. We also need more commercializations of the technologies. Currently, I think there is one unicorn in Malaysia. I think Malaysia could easily have 20, 25, and we hope that the center that we're establishing now can be a real center of all the young people, all the people that are innovators and entrepreneurs in this country can come and be part of a global thinking and global centers around the possibilities and opportunities related to the new technologies.
Leaders from 19 political parties convened at the Unity Government National Convention over the weekend in an effort to forge stronger cooperation. Political analyst Dr. Oisan discusses if political stability within the government can be sustained until the next general election.
I think the unity within the unity government, so to say, would perhaps remain largely intact as long as they could hold this government together. Of course, the converse is also true, namely this government can hold itself together if there's unity among the component parties of the unity government. But I think there's at least one other factor which may affect the survivability of this government, namely if, for example, the unity government were to lose most of the state governments in the upcoming state elections, individual MPs currently supporting the unity government, they may have second thoughts, sometimes even against the express party line of their respective parties.
Cases of domestic violence in recent years has shown a worrying trend. In fact, it was reportedly at its highest in 2021. This happened despite the existence of the Domestic Violence Act 1994, also known as Act 521. Senior Program Officer at Musawa, Shirin Junisha, highlights the challenges Malaysia faces in regards to ending domestic violence cases.
In terms of domestic violence, we have an act of Parliament called Domestic Violence Act. That is in our civil context, civil law, the context of civil courts, and it's read together with the penal code, and it gives protection for women who are, suffering abuse or forms of abuse, from the hands of the perpetrator. So we have, on one hand, we have this we have this framework, this legal framework in place, but on the other hand, you see the data, we're still very high, right? The numbers don't go down, there's a reason, and everybody, we know who are, we have people who've gone through some form of divorce, abuse one way or the other. And it's not necessarily physical abuse. It can also be mental abuse, it can be psychological abuse, it can be financial abuse. So abuse in its various forms.
The Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development said a total of 19,268 domestic abuse cases were reported from 2020 to 2022 at the height of the pandemic. Although the government said there was a decline in reported cases, Shirin says many of these cases remain unresolved.
When these women come and call up on the hotline to say that, okay, I have a case, I'm subject to violence, what can I do? So we really don't see what happens after. So it's always been, the data is how many thousands of women, the cases of domestic violence in 1 year. But does it say, okay, so out of this, how many reports were made at the police station? And then out of that, how many cases of these cases had actually made it to the court system? And out of that, how many of these cases have been successfully prosecuted or indicted? What comes of that? So it's hard to tell a story when you only have one set of data. There's no spectrum. You don't see what happens at the end, because at the end you want to make sure that the perpetrator gets the due what's the just deserves, or rather what's he or she deserved according to the provisions of the Domestic Violence Act.
We will go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Anda ingin menjadi seorang pereka cipta? Kami mau membantu merealisasikan impian anda. Kongsikan idea inovatif anda dan sertai program Innovathon. Anda berpeluang untuk memenangi hadiah lumayan. Hantarkan video 1 minit idea anda secara online. Tarikh tutup penghantaran telah dilanjutkan atas permintaan ramai. Atau hadirkan diri ke lokasi berikut untuk membentangkan idea anda. Selamat mencuba. Moga berjaya. Inilah peluang untuk menggapai impian anda yang terpendam selama ini.
Nak maju ke depan? Rambut gugur tak boleh jadi penghalang. Pantene Hair Fall Control dengan provitamin dan biotin seperti menambah vitamin pada setiap helaian rambut untuk rambut sehingga 100% lebih kuat terhadap rambut gugur. Rambut kuat macam saya.
Thailand's two main opposition parties, Move Forward Party and PADU, have agreed to form a coalition after they won big in the weekend election. But is this enough to secure a majority to form Thailand's next government? Dr. Virat Ali of Thammasat University weighs in.
The election was a surprise anyhow. One thing that we believed that there would be a landslide for the Democratic Alliance, it did. But if we looked at most of the polls that were done before that, we believed that the Thai Party would come as a largest party. But this time they came second. And the interesting part was that the Move Forward Party has secured up to 150 seats, while the Thai Party has secured around 142. So for the Democratic Alliances, only with these two parties, at the moment we have 292 votes. And there are some smaller other parties on the Democratic Alliances which would join the coalition. So currently the number is at 309.
In order for the Democratic Alliance to secure a safe majority in the House of Representatives, Virat said it would require collaborating with other parties. In this case, the party that came in third with about 70 seats, Phum Chai Thai Party.
So for the 309 votes that we have, if you include Phum Chai Thai Party, which is the third party, which have secured around 70 seats, or at the moment it's at around 71, then if Phum Chai Thai Party moves in with the Democratic Coalition, then they might have over, say, 375 or 376 votes. There's a possibility. But the issue is that before the election, Move Forward Party or even Phum Chai Thai Party has made some conditions publicly, i.e. such as Future Forward Party has stated that they're not going to offer the ministry that Phum Chai Thai might need or wants to secure for itself, i.e. such as Ministry of Transportation and the Ministry of Health. At the same time, Phum Chai Thai Party has stated that they're not going to join with the Move Forward Party because Move Forward Party has a policy to amend the Article 112. So for the Democratic Alliance, in order to win, you have won the majority in the lower house or the parliament, but still you need to compete with the 250 senators, which are supporting they're backing the military-backed political party.
Turkey's fiercely contested presidential election appears likely to go for a second round as President Recep Tayyip Erdogan falls short of obtaining an outright majority to extend his 20-year rule. With nearly all votes counted, neither Erdogan nor his opposition rival Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu have cleared the 50% threshold needed to avoid a second poll, which will be held in 2 weeks' time. Turkey's Supreme Election Council reported that Erdogan secured 49.49% of the vote, while Kılıçdaroğlu obtained 44.79%. The third candidate, Sinan Oğan, received 5.28% of votes, raising the possibility that he could be a kingmaker in the runoff. Erdogan has said that he is ready for a runoff if necessary, while Kılıçdaroğlu vowed to secure victory in the second round. The election comes at a crucial time for the country, which is grappling with high inflation and recently faced devastating earthquakes that claimed over 50,000 lives.
Hiç kimse bir oldu bittiye heves vermesin.
China plans to launch pilot projects in over 20 cities to create a new era of marriage and childbearing culture. The China Family Planning Association will lead these projects, which aim to foster friendly childbearing environments to address the country's declining birth rate. The projects will focus on promoting marriage, encouraging couples to have children at appropriate ages, and fostering shared child-rearing responsibilities among parents. The initiatives also aim to address outdated customs such as curbing high bride prices. The projects are part of a string of other measures introduced by the government to incentivize people to have children, including tax incentives, housing subsidies, and free or subsidized education for families with a third child. The association had already similarly launched projects in 20 other cities, including Beijing, last year. China implemented a strict one-child policy from 1980 until 2015, resulting in various demographic challenges that has led to India becoming the world's most populous nation. The limit has since been raised to 3 children to address population concerns. That wraps up AWANI tonight. I'm Fayana Sheikh. Thank you for watching.